been where a lot of you are right now, and you already have the skill set and you have the mindset and understanding on how to run and operate a business, but you can't seem to feel like it's growing. You're trying to figure out what you need to do to either accumulate more, get more service, get more clients, get more business generated just in general. You're running Facebook ads, you're running Instagram ads, so on and so forth. And I don't mean to sound like an advertisement, but I want you to know that I understand exactly where you're coming from. And this is a common thing that happens with a lot of people. And sometimes all it takes is taking a seat back and looking within yourself to figure out what is going on inside your business. Is it an external situation that needs to be fixed, or is it internal? And most of the time, I tell you what, it's internal. And let me explain. Your internal system that could be causing you a problem is simple things that you could fix today and see improvements within the next week or two. It'd be things like, do you know what generates the most revenue in your business? And if you do, what is the average ticket for that particular service or that product? How many of them do come in currently, and where do you want to go with those? In other words, do you have a metric system assigned to your program, whether that's service or product, that lets you measure where you are and where you want to be? Because if you can't tell me what that is right now with that simple question, or you got to guess to try to figure it out, that is an internal error that we need to fix. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere, and you getting more business or getting more service or getting more products sold this week was just pure luck and had nothing to do with the fact that you added variables or took variables away to generate a more profitable business. Again, rather than service or product, it was luck. I want to show you how to dissect your system and do a self-coaching. Let's do self-coaching by doing a self-evaluation. That way you can look at what you can do differently without having to pay for all these expensive courses and the expensive people that's out there. I'm going to give it to you for free. I want to use a system that a mentor of mine that I admire truly from a spiritual aspect and a business aspect, Myron Golden. It's called the 4 levels of value. I want to go over the implementation, unification, communication, and imagination levels of value, and how you can apply these inside of your business to take you to the next level, or how you can strengthen inside the level that you're currently working with. And that way you can start seeing the progress you're making and want to do something differently. But again, it starts with having a metric system. So let's break that down real quick. So let's talk about the implementation level. When you talk about the implementation level, there's a couple of things that's going to always stand out that you need to remember. One, you're going to always be limited on how much you can make at this level. Reason being, the things that's going to take place in the implementation level is physical work, and you're trading work or labor for time. Both of those are things that are not infinite. You got 24 hours in a day, and you typically work an 8 or 9 hour shift. Some people could push a 12-hour shift, but eventually your body gets tired and you grow fatigue. And the longer you try to work, especially if you have a skill set, the level of performance is going to diminish, and therefore you can't keep going. So you got to rest and you got to start over the next day. So this level is going to always come with restrictions. If you're working for 1 hour, making $100 an hour, or if you're working for let's use permanent cosmetics for an example, because of the industry that I'm in. If you do a set of brows and make $500 in 3 hours, you can probably max out only at $1,000 for the service itself, not including the gratuity that you may make from performing the service on your client. You have 2 hours to spare in an 8-hour shift because you've done 2 procedures. In that 2 hours, you probably get lunch, and you have different times that you're talking, checking the client out, sitting down, preparing your trays, cleaning up after a procedure that you've done, and getting ready for the next one, or rebooking the next client for next month, or your 6-week touch-up. Either way, you're restricted on the time and the amount of muscle or energy that's going to be used inside your implementation level. Now, before we go to the next level, you got to understand that in order for you to max out the implementation level, you need to make sure you have the type of skill set that people want to purchase. That skill set needs to be mastered. So if you're doing microblading, powder brow, ombre, whatever it is, if it's a skill set, you need to make sure you are in demand. Being in demand don't mean that people know you and they are always reaching out to you. Being in demand means there's a set of skill set that you have that's going to make you marketable. If your work is not marketable, it doesn't matter how much time you spend at work. They're not going to trade you your time for your service. You'll just be sitting there trading time for no money. So I recommend being sharp, being mastering whatever that service is that you're providing in the implementation level, so that we can figure out how to grow our business inside the unification level. So restricted time, restricted amount of money, master the skill set that you have inside that implementation. And once you do those things, you'll be ready for the unification level. And that brings us to next level of money that can be made in your business. In the unification level, it's not just about having a bigger title. It's not just being the manager. So you can align being in the unification value as a managerial position, because they're going to oversee the people that are in the implementation level. But if you're self-employed, how does this qualify for you? Great question. If you're self-employed or entrepreneur, so they call, and by the way, there's a difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, the business can run by itself if you're not present. And if you're self-employed, you have to be there in order for the business to run and operate. Okay, so let's use self-employed in this example, and we'll build as we continue to grow your entrepreneurship. If you're self-employed and you don't have anyone that you're looking over as a manager, so you're in this category of unification by yourself, is it possible since you don't have anyone you're looking over? Absolutely. Here's the reason why. In the level of unification, there's a skill set up here. Okay, so this person probably knows what they're doing with their hands, and they're not restricted on time or muscle like you would be in implementation. But in unification, there's a way a manager thinks and processes information that's going to still allow you to produce money. I'll give you an example. If I am an artist and I know how to do microblading, and I do 2 clients, and I make sure I max out my $1,000, and I use my 6 hours like I need to. But I pour at purchasing the correct pigment, using too many supplies, overbuying in needles. I don't book people the proper way. I book late. I hold my ink too long. These different little small pieces that cost you money whenever you're inside the implementation level, because you feel like you somehow do 2 procedures a day but don't have any money left. You're not good at managing your money. But if you have a mental state and understand exactly how you need to operate your business, on how to move money around, to look at your overhead, how to maximize the amount of time that you're using, including creating special deals for people. This is a form and a mindset that you have to have. When you're self-employed, you have to mentally think on another level that puts you inside of unification. Typically, if there's people that can work under you, that is a managerial role. So you have 4 people that you oversee. They are doing the skill set, and because you're good at managing, they probably make more money of a salary, or it could be even like a booth rent. But your title and your position allows you to make more money. Self-employed people have to have a different type of mindset. So what I want you to do is think of the different ways you can make more money if you process information differently. I want to give you an example of how to use your mind to put you mentally at a unification level so that you can still grow on all levels. Well, at this point, we're growing on 2 levels, the implementation and the unification. So creating a standard operating procedure for yourself, or a system that allows you to duplicate the same performance every time, especially if you get a review. Here's an example. A client comes in, you already know that you're going to set them up with a 6-week follow-up for a procedure that they're going to be doing. What other services do you provide or offer that you can include inside your closing when you're talking to a client about their browse? What can you add to that, or how can you continue to promote what you're doing? Did you create or build a referral program? Did you offer a discounted price for families whenever they send a relative in with them? Did you create a code that they can use on a business card? Or did you say, follow me for more of this or more of that? These are different ways that you can develop a system with a unification type of mindset that's going to allow you to produce more money at the implementation level. But you're thinking like a manager. So you don't have to have people that work under you. You just got to know how to think like you are in a managerial role. Being able to set your schedule so you're not rushing your clients and creating an atmosphere and develop a system that's going to allow you to have more opportunities will put you at the level of unification, and you got it. For my entrepreneurs who are truly trying to go into a unification level, understand that the goal of unification is you're trying to replace yourself from an implementation position in your business so that it operates with or without you. Unification is replacing yourself by still generating income, and you don't have to be there. Typically, that means finding someone that can do the work for you, finding someone that can do the job, even if it means getting 2 to 3 people to operate at that level, and you can focus on some other project to generate money inside of your business. So this is still unification, but this is the proper way to do unification when you're running an entrepreneurship and not self-employed. Self-employed is having the mindset. Entrepreneurship is having the mindset and taking yourself out of the element so that you can focus on other projects and do other things because you have other people doing what you once did, and you are now trying to grow the business by generating another system. The system you're generating is overseeing or replacing, okay? That's the biggest difference between unification as a self-employed personnel or unification with an entrepreneurship. So we discussed being an entrepreneur and growing and unification level and stepping away because you're replacing yourself and still having an impact on your business. That next level of impact is communication. So we have implementation, unification, and the next level of value inside of your business is communication. Communication is so imperative. It doesn't take any work when it comes to the muscles and the time. You are no longer trading your muscles and time for money. You're no longer trading your muscles and time for money. Think about that. That means that you are almost unlimited on the amount of money that you can bring in because you're using a special set of skills, and that's being able to communicate. Being able to talk to, teach, sing, take in videos like we're doing now, being able to communicate to other clients for other people. You know, there's positions and roles that you can create using your communication skills that's going to allow people that's in your unification level and implementation level to make money and allow you to do it. Let me give you an example. When someone comes inside of our studio, I am a people person. I love speaking and talking to people. I would like to go and get involved with every conversation that comes through the front door. I know I shouldn't do it because I can be doing other things with that time. What I can do with that time to cover and produce more business for people in the implementation and unification level, I can talk in front of a crowd. I can go to schools that I want to visit that are going to be interested in the same industry that we are currently in. I can speak to 50 people at one time. I can spend 1 hour speaking to 50 people and have much more impact to encourage them to funnel down from having an interest inside of the school or the training to even wanting to get their brows done. I talked to 50 people and I captured 10 people that want to get their brows. I just did the work for my unification and my implementative level staff, right? Right. So communication is the next level of value that you want to master whenever you're running and operating your business. How do I become a better communicator so that the levels underneath can grow from me being a mastermind communicator. And that's where your focus is going to be on this level of value. Oh, we are on my favorite last level of value, and that is going to be imagination. Let me explain to you why it's my favorite. This is for the people that create and generate something that does not exist. That is someone that comes up with an idea in their head and they are able to create this thing so that other people can connect with it and grow from there. I'll give you an example, and one that's done here in the state of Missouri. Tattooing, permanent cosmetics, did not have any regulation in the state of Missouri. Instead, what they did was say, hey, get this done at your own risk. There was not a school that was licensed under the state of Missouri, recognized as a permanent cosmetic school in the state of Missouri. And there was this beautiful young lady named Tiara Jackson, my wife, who thought, hey, I know what I experienced when I tried to get my training, and I want to improve my experience that I had going through a program. Now, during the time, this still was not regulated, but once we got together and the laws changed in the state of Missouri, we knew we wanted to develop a program or school that will be identified as the first permanent cosmetic school that's labeled as a school and not an apprenticeship. Now, what does this do? How does this benefit people? It allows people who are talented, that catch on quickly, that still get through the program quickly and efficiently and still pick up their theoretics that they need to be successful in this business. And that is an imaginative thought process or an imaginative value that you cannot just mirror. So when you're on the level of imagination or imaginative value, this is creating something that doesn't exist, and then everyone else has to almost follow suit. Yeah, they'll look at your program and say, oh, you came up with something that actually works and it's doing great, and all I need to do is mirror or make this a turnkey operation by following your footsteps and establish a business. Now, that's no shade to other programs or other people or other businesses whatsoever. Not at all. Okay. The reason being, every business that you see that has something very similar came from a foundational imagination, right? It's someone else's imagination that came up with something and it was like, oh, I like Walmart. Walmart, let's make a Target. Oh, I like Target. Let's make a Sam's Club. Oh, I like Sam's Club. They took something someone made and they added to it. But the person that created and came up with the idea was on an imaginative value. Do you understand? So that is the max level that you can come up with in your business when it comes to value. You have implementation, unification, communication, and imagination. When you take things to the imaginative level, be ready to get the highest reward, because there's no higher value when it comes to those 4 levels in generating business and being prosperous.